All right, now in the forensics field, we must go over one very important thing, and this is deceitfulness. And this can be very hard to find. It can be deception, and is truly one of the epitomes of the warrior gene that's in the DSM-4, and all the stuff that people have been trying to theorize about for years. But now they've found the warrior gene with less dopamine and serotonin, where people will live to escape and control other people. With antisocial and even other personality disorders, with antisocial traits. This antisocial behavior tends to revolve around either force or deceitfulness. Now, the deceitfulness is part of my video here. I don't want to talk about violent shit to other people. Let's talk about, the deceitful qualities of a lot of offenders. And this is where you'll see superficial charm and manipulation, where somebody may seem very nice, but they're nice in a mean way, because they won't accept no for an answer. They tend to pretend like the nicest guy you ever meet, but you gotta wonder about this stuff. You'll see like Swim Fan, where that woman pretends to be his friend, and it's almost like she won't leave him alone. And she has that very deceitful, dominating, and very dissocial pattern. It's the 3Ds: deceitful, dominating, dissocial, where somebody pretends to be their friend, but then they are controlling them, and they are psycho when anything goes wrong and their expectations are not met. And those are the 3Ds of antisocial personalities that are seen a lot in justice system, where a guy may go out there into a situation. He may be in a prison setting, and somebody pretends like he's his friend and says, "Here, I'll loan you a couple bucks, and don't worry about it. It's a present since you're a new guy." And he turns around and extorts him and expects him to pay back everything he earns or whatever on somebody else, and kind of runs stuff on him, and he's kind of using it to make the guy in debt with somebody. And they use this kind of manipulation and charm and stuff like that to get somebody as a target if their expectation is not met. And this is where the deceitful warrior gene quality comes in, and where somebody is using some situation to get control of another person. Now, you may have a female offender who will use charm and seductive charm qualities, like maybe somebody going out there trying to get a bunch of guys in a situation where she can accuse them of some sexual assault. If she doesn't make a lot of money off of them, she'll turn around and use this social psycho pattern on them. And now she's using her warrior gene, because they would never see this coming. She is being very deceitful, acting like she's going to give them a good time, and then turns around and uses the situation to run them down and mess them up. And, her expectation's not met, now she's going psycho. This is where her less dopamine, serotonin in the brain triggers this kind of behavior, and antisocial acting out, and self-medication through stimulation on other people, where they want to control them and humiliate them and abuse them. And that is where you see a lot of this deceitfulness. Now, on the other hand, you see different other dangerous forms of it, where a person could go out there and truly have this mentality where, John Wayne Gacy would say to somebody, "Hey, bring your son over and we'll look at carpet and we'll decide what to put in your house." And he'd pretend like he was their friend. And then he would turn around and the kid would never come back. He'd come to the house and say, "Did he show up? I'm really concerned." And Stalin did the same thing when he ordered somebody murdered from some army, and it was like a high-profile person, even before the war or something. And somebody was very upset about it. They disappeared, and asked him if he knew anything about it. He said, "Oh my God, I'm so concerned." He pretended like he was all worried about it and tried to get an investigation on the outside. Pretended like he was doing his part to help, which was just complete deceitful bullshit. And he was full of it. He was using this as deceitful manipulation. And you will see this where there will be people that may act like somebody's friend. They may say, "I can help you open your locker." And they turn around and they rob half somebody's stuff behind their back. And then they use a situation where they are trying to sugarcoat something. They seem like a really nice person, but they are not. They are using this in a deceitful manner. In deceitfulness and compulsive lying and, being a pathological liar, all that stuff is seen in the sociopath category, where these people are truly antisocial and they just don't feel. And they can take a polygraph test and pass because they don't feel emotions on other people. They just don't bond to them readily. They feel, okay, this person's a tool. I'm going to pretend I'm his friend, do this and that. And that's what the forensics field sees. And so a lot of these people, when it comes to interrogation, it's very important that people are clever talking to these people, because they can convince somebody of anything. They got social skills of a politician. And so somebody can seem like a nice person on the outside when they're really a cold-blooded psychopath on the inside. And you see that serial killer in Charlotte, Henry Louis Wallace, seemed like the nicest person people ever met. And they would have never imagined this. Ted Bundy could do that too. And John Wayne Gacy, and even Dahmer, and a lot of these people could. And like Dahmer pretended he had some illness or sickness, or, that he was upset, or, that he was screwed up and wanted another chance and would never be in any trouble again to that judge for probation, and abused it completely. And he was so deceitful. I mean, he would take advantage of people who trusted him, and he would use his good looks and charm to get people drugged up so he could have his way on them. That's the true deceitful warrior gene tone that the Justice Department sees, where people truly don't feel for others, but they use their charm as a tool to get control of them. And that's the very dangerous side of these personality disorders. So, this is my video about the deceitfulness, and you will see a lot of this stuff where, like, Adolf Hitler manipulated people behind him and would use deceit and terrorism and all kinds of stuff to scare people into voting for him. And deceit can also be terror and threats and vile, force-driven stuff. It is basically cracking the art of war in another person to get your way on them. And that is where you see offenders that do this kind of stuff on a regular basis, and they can turn around, humiliate somebody. And you could see a sociopath that gets a job at a bookstore, and he turns around and he bullies some other guy on the job and says, "You need to be working harder, come on now." But he's a psychopath because he's not doing anything, and he's using it to project attention away from himself. Or another guy turns around and he's walking down the street and he pushes somebody aside and says, "Hey, that guy was trying to mug this person." And he turns around, yanks the person, runs. But he uses it as a diversion. And these people are very clever. And the deceit is very dangerous. The more deep the deceit is, the more antisocial the person is. You may see somebody that seems nice on the outside, but they just rob somebody. Then you see somebody who seems very dominating and manipulative, and they're more of the offender. And so this is where the deceit is. It's very hard to fight that sometimes, because sometimes you can have somebody that truly doesn't fit any profile, and they just go under the radar until somebody, accidentally sees their house get blown down, finds something that, shouldn't be there. So this is my video, and thank